guys, welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now,
Jimothy.
So ladies and gents, we are back with another weekly market watch. Welcome back to the channel. You know where we are. Before we start, I just want to give this a quick preface. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some dude on the internet talking about Yu-Gi-Oh cards, so don't take my advice verbatim. But anyway, let's just get straight into it. Now today's episode is going to focus mainly on Battles of Legends, Monstrous Revenge, and some of the cards that you want to consider picking up out of that set. Now the set is still being teared open, so prices might even decline a little bit further. So if you're into the waiting game, you might want to hold off just probably over the next couple of days and typically just see where prices end up at, because people are tearing it open, they're chasing down the quarter century secret rares, and it means that more copies of cards like the card that you got on screen at the moment, the Synchron, is going to flood the market a little bit more quickly, and with these backpack vendors and people just kind of like trading and pulling them at locals, you're going to see a few more of them hit the market, which means that supply is going to go down because there's more of them. So just bear that in mind, ladies and gents, if you don't want to pay a premium on them. But starting us off, Assault Synchron. This is probably the most notable card in the set. Probably the chase card alongside the quarter century secret rares. It's a free special summon, it's a tuner, you take 700 damage, which is basically negligible in today's day and age of Yu-Gi-Oh! Definitely a card you want to consider picking up. At the moment I'm seeing them for about £5 cheapest. Obviously I don't really know this seller, but you're looking about £7-8 for the card, and typically it's a decent card, ladies and gents. And I haven't got my playset yet, but I'm definitely looking to pick up a playset of this going forward. When it initially dropped, I'm sure it was something like upwards of like £15, so definitely coming down in price, and it's already halved. You can see the graph here, it's just declined over time. But once this card starts seeing play, and obviously with the WCQ season still in swing, you might see an uptick in price in this, just because people are going to start using this in their decks. But nonetheless, moving on, Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. This card was creeping up for the longest time. Its price is a little bit volatile, but it's somewhat settled a little bit again down to the price that it was at when it got its previous reprint. I think it was MP21 or something like that. But nonetheless, it's at about £14-15. Now if you're after a Zeus, it'll be a good time to pick it up, mainly because it was difficult to get a hold of previously, and this reprint of the secret rares definitely brought the price down a little bit. But I can only see this going up. It's not necessarily a card that's been pulled quite commonly out of Battle of Legends, so it's definitely worth kind of investing in this if you are after a Zeus or just trying to trade for it. Another card that I thought was really interesting was ETX Hydra. I think it debuted in this set. This is its only print. Now I managed to pick a couple of these up for 50p, which was absolutely crazy. But even at like £2.90, £3, I still think this is a decent card, and I will be completing my playset just because this card basically says draw 2 cards. So it says must be used the fusion materials must consist of monster special summon from the extra deck that you control. So you can't use cards from your hand, it has to be extra deck monsters on the field that you control, which is an issue. But Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Pendulum, or Link. So Pendulums, this is a little bit of buff for you guys. So as many as the material used for this card's fusion, your opponent's monsters lose attack equal to their own original attack. When this card inflicts 1000 or more battle damage to your opponent, you can draw 1 card for every 1000 damage you inflicted. So basically you can, if you use 2 different types of extra deck monster, you can effectively zero out a monster's attack, and you can attack into it with ETX Hydra for 2k, which means you draw 2 cards, and because it's in damage calculation, you can't get Ash Blossom. So definitely a card that is worth considering. It's not the most, it's a bit hit and miss in terms of its application, but just for those niche moments, it can actually prove to be quite pivotal. So a card I would worth just considering just buying and just completing your playset and just putting them in a binder, because there's going to be a time when this card is going to be super useful. It's also an instant fusion target as well, bearing in mind, but you won't get its effect off being summoned via that. So definitely worth thinking about right there. Next card, Shadow's Light. Now there's been a lot of hype about this card, this and another card that I'm going to talk about next, but essentially you can target a dark monster you control and a special summon a light monster. Now I heard some people talking about, oh, you can use Eluba and go straight into Herald of the Arclight, and I was just like, no you can't. In theory yes you can, but like, why would you do that when Branded Fusion is literally a card? So There was a lot of hype surrounding it. As you can see, it's declined in price, but this is probably one of the better times to pick it up. It's only got one print, secret rare, it's just debuted, and there's gonna be another few applications for this card outside of what people are doing with it at the moment. So this is a prime time to pick it up, because the moment this card gets broken, people are just gonna be jumping on this card and be like, you know what, this is a decent card. And as a secret rare, the copies are plentiful at the moment, but they will definitely become sparse as time goes on, so definitely worth picking up. Duality is the other card from Battles of Legend Monstrous Revenge, which again had a lot of hype surrounding it. Now this card's price is a little bit more volatile just because it's got a few more applications. So with this one, you have to tribute a light or a dark monster, which can be a bit costly if this effect doesn't resolve, because it can get ashed. Because you can, well, it can't get ashed, but it does tribute for cost basically. So people have been taking it into like branded and that, and I think you can go into Dragoon. I'm not too sure of the lines, but nevertheless, it is a card. It is a quick play card as well, so it can be very, very reactive, especially if you're trying to dodge targeted effects, for example. So definitely a card worth considering. And I don't know the potential of this card, but at the moment it seems like its price is going to bottom out, and just being its only print, I think now is probably the time you probably want to pick this card up. Another card to couple with this, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, ladies and gents. This card needs no introduction. As you can see, the price on this card has been volatile, whether or not it's been in or out of the meta game. With cards like Duality, you're probably going to see a bit more Dragoons hitting end boards just because it can be treated out the extra deck. So definitely a card you want to pick up. I've specifically gone for the MP22 Megatin reprint just because it's a prismatic secret rare. Obviously you can go for the OG Ultra, which was also out of a tin, might I add. So quantities are a little bit iffy in terms of like accessing them. As you can see here, there's not that many on the market. There's one guy with 3 here, that's crazy. But yeah, anyway, £20 for the card. Probably worth picking up because I haven't seen it much lower than this. I think the lowest I've ever seen Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is like £16-17, so it's probably at its lowest point as we speak. So worth picking up, ladies and gents. Another card, No Punk Foxy Tune. I'm in the process of completing my playset of the secret rares. Again, excellent engine. When this card was, before this release of the reprint, ladies and gents, this card was just crazy. I think it was like upwards of like £20+. The reprint has definitely tanked the price on the ultra rare, but it's still a card that is definitely going to be used in some way, shape or form. The Punk engine's been notorious for just being a powerful engine in a number of decks, and I don't see that changing, to be honest. And with the reprint, you've got more access to one of the stronger cards in the archetype. So definitely worth picking up, especially as this was the price that I picked up the OG ones for, and they did nothing but rise after this. So definitely worth picking up, especially as it's an upgrade in terms of rarity. So yeah. Again, another Punk card, Olga Dance. This card's not as expensive. Again, I picked this up for like 50p, and the price has already gone up a little bit. As you can see, it's like £1.47 at the moment. So another card worth picking up. Couple's nice with Foxy Tune. Probably not as impactful as Foxy Tune, but definitely a card worth picking up anyway. Another card you might want to grab, Water Enchantress. Again, I'm getting mine. I'm trying to locate the rights as well going along with this, but this card only recently got a reprint. It's probably at its lowest point I've ever seen this card, which is crazy. £4.21. I've seen a few listings at like £3.50, so definitely worth picking up this card now whilst you got the opportunity to do so. Yeah, definitely a powerful card. So next, just for a few of my spicy techs, again out of Battles of Legends, Book of Eclipse. It was infamous in the previous meta, especially with Kashtira, and I still feel like it's a very, very powerful card. I don't like the fact that it allows your opponent to draw, but as a secret rare reprint, ladies and gents, for 47p, this is a no-brainer. Bit of a penny stunk. It's worth sitting on a few of these. Give it like a few months and this card will start climbing in price. Everybody likes secret rare. It's a nice print. It's got a lot of other printings, but again, a secret rare reprint, ladies and gents, it's always going to be up there. Not as much as like the first editions necessarily, but a secret rare reprint nonetheless. Another card, again, worth picking up. Again, I have got my playset here, ladies and gents. Dark Hole, I picked up 3 of these for £1.50, which is crazy. And as you can see, 60p, 70p, 78p. Again, this is an underrated card, especially with cards like Ibli hitting fields. This just negates Ibli, and it just forces an interaction. If it doesn't, then you just wipe in your opponent's field. So definitely a nice reprint right here. It does have loads of other versions, by the way. This was printed in like, I think it was like LOB or something like that. But Again, secret rare reprint, penny stunk, worth holding on to a couple of copies. Another card which I think is just crazy, that a little bit overshadowed by Assault Synchron, is Blackwing Shanga, the Waning Moon. If a monster is on the field with 2000 or more attack, you can special summon this card. It's a level 2 tuner dark monster. Again, very much like Assault Synchron, it doesn't lock you into anything, and its secondary effect is crazy. So if you control a Blackwing monster, you can pop a card on field from the graveyard by banishing this card, which I think is just absolutely crazy. So it's an extender, free special summon going second, specifically because your opponent's more than likely, if they've gone first, gonna have at least one monster with 2000 or more attack, and if not, then if you control a monster with 2000 or more attack, hits the field, ladies and gents. So definitely a card worth picking up, especially at the price tag of 20 UK pence, which is literally nothing. So grab yourself a playset of this. I've already got my playset. I'm gonna grab another playset. Definitely a card worth investing into. Another card, Super Polymerization. Not so much in the metagame at the moment, but as you can see, secret rare reprint, the price is already on a climb. Again, I picked this up for 50 pence, ladies and gents, and it's already at £2.21, which I still think is a fair price at the moment. So worth buying and holding onto. There's obviously other rares. You've got ultimate rares, you've got just loads of other rarities, secret rares, but again, it's a reprint. It's a secret rare version of the copy of the card, worth holding onto. It's cheap as chips, as we say, so definitely worth looking into. And the last card that you might want to consider buying is Draco Berserker of the Tendy, ladies and gents. Now, this card was just like crazy in price at one stage. This price specifically has gone down, but like the previous iterations of the card, I think it was like there was a reprint at MP21 or something like that, and it had a prismatic reprint, but all versions of the card just went up just because it was a very useful card. And typically that's what happens with this card. It kind of stays at a level for a little bit, and then as it extends away from when it was initially reprinted, it starts to just grow in price because people just pick this card up and they hold on to it because it's a useful card. It's played in a number of different strategies. It pairs well with some of the punk stuff, as well as obviously 10U being a very popular deck. So definitely worth just grabbing a couple of copies of this card. But ladies and gents, we find ourselves at the end of another market watch. Are there any cards that you think should be discussed in this video? If so, definitely get at me in that comment section below, and I will be sure to include them in the next market watch that I get my hands on. But anyway, if you did like this content, you know what to do by now. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, all of that beautiful good stuff, and I will definitely see you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.